RunSignUp's group feature allows participants to self-manage their own group, leaving less hassle on the race director. Groups are very versatile and can be customized to suit your race's needs. They can also end up driving much of the viral marketing on a race. To begin setting up the group feature on your race, go to the Participants tab of the race dashboard, click on Group/Teams, and then either go to Overview, followed by Set Up Race Groups, or under the Group/Teams subheading, simply click on Setup. Once on the race group setup page, you can use the title to display to participants box to modify how this feature will be presented to your runners. This title can be Group, Team, Competitive Team, Relay Team, Best Friends Squadron, Acquaintance Collaborative, or anything else imaginable. Just make sure that you enter in text that will make sense when an S is added to the end of it to make it plural. For instance, write Group and not Groups. Instead of showing the group title to participants, you do have the option of checking off Show a Race Page tab per group type. If this is checked, then instead of seeing the title to display to participants, each group type will be listed as a separate tab on your race page. Group passwords allow group administrators to set a password on a group, and anyone wishing to be a part of this group will need to know that password in order to join. As the race director, you can decide whether group passwords will be required of all groups, allowed though not required, or not allowed at all. Please note that if you are using group pricing, as is explained in how to set up group pricing, then you should set this to either required or allowed. If you are using group pricing to set up paid teams, then you should not set this to not allowed. Group types allow the race director to make different types of groups for the runners to create. The ability to customize these various group types gives you the opportunity to set whether group creators will need to create age or gender specific groups, event specific groups, and/or groups with member amount requirements. To create a group type, start by clicking on the button for Add Group Type. Next, enter in the name of your group type, followed by a description of that group type. The name of your group type can range from something that is all-encompassing, such as group or team, or it can be very specific, such as gender and age-specific group type. After you have filled in a name and description for your group type, you can then move on to customizing your group type settings. Under the Events section, you can select which of your race's registrants will be eligible for creating this group type by event. Setting up this group type will only be an option for the members of the events indicated here. In order to customize your group type even further, click on the plus sign next to the Advanced Settings header, and more options will be made available to you. The first of these options is the checkbox for Allow participants to create new teams of this type. By default, this box is already checked, but if you would like to make this group type's creation reserved only for the race director, then you can uncheck the box. The team joining ends fields are optional. If necessary, you can use these fields to set an end date and an end time, after which team joining will no longer be allowed. Here you can also set the number of guaranteed entries that this group type ensures. If a number greater than 0 is entered here, then any team created using this team type will be guaranteed this many entries, even if the event or events pertaining to this group type have exceeded their participant caps. The next section allows you to set gender restrictions. By checking off the box for Require groups to select gender, male, female, or co-ed, options for Allow all male teams, Allow all female teams, and Allow co-ed teams will appear. The default setting is to give registrants the option to choose male, female, or co-ed, but you can modify this in the variation that best suits your race's needs. Group size restrictions can also be set under the Advanced Settings section. To begin, enter in the minimum number of members needed in order to be considered a group. By default, this number is set at 0, but the minimum number of group members can be set to any number of your choosing. Depending on your gender restrictions, you may also be given the options to set the minimum number of male members and the minimum number of female members. Next, you can set the maximum number of members if necessary, and once a group of this type reaches the maximum number indicated, then no more members will be allowed to join unless a member leaves or is removed from the group. Depending on your gender restrictions, you may also be given the options to set the maximum number of male members and the maximum number of female members. Keep in mind that while group maximums cannot be passed by members, by default, group minimums are not enforced when registering. This means that even if your group minimum is 4, a group of 3 or less can still create and join a group while registering, and the 4th member may join later, or possibly not at all. If you would like to say that during registration, new groups are required to register at least the minimum number of registrants as listed above, then mark off the box to indicate this. Please note that using this setting may make it more difficult for friends to register in a group because they must all register on the same transaction using a single credit card. Also, you may still end up with groups of less than the minimum size if the group is created in the post-registration participant management screen. Under the group size restrictions heading, you can also set the limit for the maximum number of groups that can be created using this group type. The final portion of the advanced settings section is for designating age ranges. Group types can require that members fall into specified age ranges if necessary, or you can leave this section blank, and members of all ages can join. To begin setting up age ranges, click on the button labeled Add Age Range. Next, enter in your age ranges in the format of youngest age to oldest age. These age ranges will dictate who is eligible for joining these group types, and ages are determined by the age of the registrant on race day, unless otherwise indicated in the event step of the wizard. For more information on changing the age calculation date, please refer to How to Set Up Events. An age range of 0 to 12 will allow participants 12 and under to join. An age range of 13 to 19 would allow teenagers to join. An age range of 20 to 29 would only allow 20-somethings to join, and so on and so forth. An age range can be set up to include any range of ages that you would like, and multiple age ranges can be accepted under a single group type by continuing to click on the button for Add Age Range. To remove an age range, click on the X next to that range. By default, group types are set up to allow anyone within the designated age ranges to join. For instance, if you have the age range of 0 to 12 and 20 to 29 set up, then anyone from 0 to 29 who is not a teenager would be able to join the group. However, if you check off Require Groups to select a single age group that all group members must meet, then groups will need to be created so that they are either exclusively for registrants 0 to 12 or 20 to 29. You can create as many group types as you need by clicking on the button for Add Group Type, and repeating the process, and group types can be removed by clicking on the X located to the right of the group type. In the Race Group Event Settings section, you will find each event of your race listed separately. Using the checkbox underneath each event, you can set whether you want to require registrants to join a group. Any event selected here will require its members to join a group. Once you have finished setting up or modifying your group settings, click on the button for Save Settings at the bottom of the page, and you will receive a confirmation message to let you know that the changes have been saved. A written instruction manual is also available for this topic and can be viewed and/or downloaded in the How To section of RunSignUp.